Alright, so I'm now in Substance Painter. I imported our asset, our rock in here, and I also baked some maps using the bake mesh maps in here, and I used pretty much exactly this asset. I didn't use the high poly. Okay, and besides that, I also imported the textures I got off of the Megascan. So this ripple lava rock that I've mentioned before. Okay, so now let's just texture this guy, So I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to apply this texture on top of it. So, add the albedo, the roughness, and the normal in here. Okay, what I'm going to do next is increase kind of like the strength, the intensity of it, because right now if you go really close to it, it's kind of blurry. Okay, and one thing I like to do to combat that is to add a filter and go into and apply a sharpen filter, and also apply it on the normal. And now you can see like the difference. You've got a lot more detail in here. Maybe make this like 1.2 because the camera is going to be further away. It's not going to be like here, Okay, and you can see the effect it has on the look. It's just sharper, and looks better. That's fine. Now I want to add a little bit of inconsistencies in here, and in order to do that, I'm going to add some wear and damage and tear around those edges. So one thing we can do is basically add a new layer, like a white layer like this. I'm going to delete that and go into smart masks. And I'm looking for an uber edges. That's something I know works quite well. So edges uber, just put it on top of here, and now we have all those we've got this edge damages in here. What I want to do though is play with the blending modes, see if something caught my eye. I think I'm gonna leave it on difference and decrease the opacity. Make it something like this. I think that's fine. And I'm actually going to turn off all of those because I only want to affect the color, not the roughness or anything else. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Next thing I want to do is add a little bit more, even more variation. So maybe add a little bit of reds in here, like some sort of blood color type of thing. I don't have something in mind. I'm just freestyling this basically, and it's exactly what I've done for the original artwork as well. So yeah, I'm going to use surface worn on this guy, and I'm going to get something like this, which is pretty fine. What if I play with the blending modes? Like the overlay looks kind of cool, the screen not so much. Linear burn, that's too black. Soft light, the soft light looks fine as well. Let's try the overlay again. I think the soft light looks more natural and interesting, in my opinion. And I'm going to turn the opacity down a little bit. And because we have different roughness values, you get this really like shinier parts in here, which I really enjoy. So something like this is pretty fine. I enjoy the variety we have in here, and maybe one more layer is going to be some dirt piling up on the bottom. So for that, let me go with a darker color like this, and it should be really rough because it's dirt after all. And I'm going to look for another one of those, and it's called like ground dirt. Put it up here, and I have this piling up. I'm gonna work with this a little bit and change some parameters because this is really high up. Like remember our guy gets up to like this point or something like that, so we need to take that into account. So I'm gonna play with the balance a little bit. Now maybe something like this. I'm not gonna sit here all day to texture this guy. I just want to show you the principles of how I'm getting this done. And if you redo what I'm doing, you can basically spend how much time you want on this guy. Okay, so now that I've got those happening, I'm gonna put them into a group like this, just to be more organized in this area. And what I want to do right now is to make use of the stuff we have baked. So right here into the project we have the ambient occlusion, we have the curvatures. So let me try out the curvature first. So I'm going to make a new fill layer and only use the color, and I'm going to plug this in like this, and I'm going to right click, go and add a levels adjustments. And yeah, we need to basically make everything dark and just the edges be white like this, something like this basically. And now we can use a different blending mode and just use screen to get rid of everything that's black. And now we have all this white stuff on the edges. So I'm just gonna turn down the opacity, and make it like 7 or so. I just want to add a little bit of highlight over the edges. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the ambient occlusion as well. So turn everything off except for the color, plug in the ambient occlusion, and let's try where is it? Levels adjustments. Yeah, something like this. Really dark, really push this into it because I want to get all of that depth definition. So I'm going to put this over to multiply, and it's going to get rid of everything that's white. And now when I turn it on, you can see all those dark spots. Those are now too intense, so just turn it off a little bit. We don't want pure black in them. We just want a little bit of form definition, so you can see the before and after. You basically can see the curvatures a little bit better because there's depth and shadows and highlights and whatnot. Okay, so the way I did it, I basically found a weird website. I don't know what website that was. It took me a little bit to find something. It was like an obscure website, but basically I found these sort of things. I don't know what those are. Unicode page A3. That's how this thing was called when I downloaded it. And I've got another one. That's basically kind of like the same thing. So I'm just gonna use those as stamps and paint on our object. Add those into Substance Painter basically. And I'm going to add a new layer like this. And because this is like a paint layer you can use to paint, when you press on one of those alphas, you get that on display. So basically now if I press, I get all of those letters embedded in here. But before I do that, I want to play around with some of the parameters. So I want to make this be like gold looking writing. Okay, so I'm gonna make this yellowish, pretty intense yellowish. I'm gonna make it metallic and the roughness be a little bit smoother. And I'm also going to increase the height because I want those guys to pop a little bit. So whenever you look at them, you can see they are kind of like popping out of the texture. So yeah, basically right now I'm just putting those painting those. I don't know what they are, but they look cool and I'm gonna use them. Okay, so that's pretty much what I've done. You know, we can use the other one as well over here. Maybe use those instead in this part of our stuff, and then maybe I can even rotate this like 180 and put them on the bottom. And yeah, this is like the writing stuff, you know. You get them on the sides as well. We can fix that in a second. So basically right click, add white mask, and now you can paint with black and get rid of those on the sides wherever you don't want them. But the easier way to do this is go up here, switch to 3D and 2D view, and just get rid of whatever's on those parts in here, just like this. And yeah, now you're fine, basically. I'm gonna switch back to 3D only. And there's one more thing I want to do, simply because those leathers right now, they are kind of, how should I say it? You know, they're uniform, right? So you've got leathers everywhere. But I want to use some noise texture in order to break this up. And yeah, I don't know what to say. So basically, I put this into a group, like so. And this guy is going to get a black mask, so everything is going to disappear. And what I'm going to do is go in here and filter by alphas, and I'm just going to look for something in here to use, you know. And if I use this guy and paint with white, you are going to show those in those parts, basically. You know, I can do this, I can do this, this and this, and now you've got those leathers, you know, appearing wherever you paint. So, you know, there's nothing really, there's no technique really here. Just paint however you see fit. So I want more letters here on the ground where it's like supposed that you come and read them. I want some of them in here, and yeah, just, you know, break them up. You don't want full letters exactly everywhere. Make this smaller. Maybe you get some more stuff in there, maybe not. You know, some stuff in here. Maybe you delete some of them. You get some like this, but not in here. And basically you do you, okay? And I think this is fine for me. I'm gonna keep them like this, and those are my letters. Great. And yeah, this is how I've textured this whole thing, this ancient looking plaque, or whatever you want to call it, with weird stuff happening on it. Yep. Okay, so now I can simply, you know, save those textures and go back into Blender. Alright, and now that I'm back in Blender, you've got the rock, you've got the textures, and you know, you can go into render view with an HDRI and you get your final result, basically.